On the way to the hot pot restaurant, Serenity's phone rang, and it was Jane on the other end. But before Jane's voice came through, Serenity was greeted by the loud, playful cries of little Enzo. Enzo, true to his reputation, was throwing a fuss over his mother's phone, demanding to play with it as though it were his own. Jane juggled her restless son in one arm while managing the call with the other, remarking on how relentless the boy could be. Eventually, a nanny came to take Enzo away, giving Jane a brief moment of peace. Unlike her noisy brother, Ava was calm, obedient, and dearly cherished in the Johnson household, especially since she was the only girl among several boys in the family. Her sweetness had quickly made her a favorite, though she was clever in her own way, sometimes fussing just enough to ensure she wouldn't be left behind when her mother went out. Even as a small infant, she had already learned how to capture her mother's attention. As Serenity chatted with Jane, it became clear how much Jane missed her. Yet Jane admitted that going out was no longer as easy as it once was. With two little ones constantly at her side, her freedom was limited. Still, she longed for the companionship of her old friend and tried to bridge the distance with frequent calls. Jane eventually shifted the conversation towards Sony, curious if he was nearby. Titus, Jane's eldest, had just returned home for winter vacation, eager to reconnect with his young friend. While Jane rarely asked directly for Sony unless her son was involved, this time it was clear that Titus was waiting. The boy had grown close to Sony and looked forward to speaking with him again. Smiling, Serenity passed the phone to Sony, who happily chatted with Titus all the way to the hot pot restaurant. Their conversation was lively and filled with a kind of excitement only children could bring, sharing stories and plans for the winter holiday. Titus was already preparing gifts, wanting to surprise Sony when they met again. By the time the car reached the restaurant, Sony was still reluctant to hang up, but he promised his friend that they would see each other soon. With the reassurance that his aunt would bring him over during the break, Sony said goodbye, his heart warmed by the bond of friendship that continued to grow between them.